First Contact and Deception. Admiral Helena Chen stood at the observation deck of Titan Base, her weathered face illuminated by Saturn's rings. 50 years of maintaining humanity's greatest deception weighed heavily on her shoulders. The quantum sensors had detected what everyone knew would eventually come. A Class I civilization had entered the solar system. Admiral, the Meridian Fleet has entered stealth mode, Lieutenant Park reported, his neural interface pulsing softly blue. All surface installations are running primitive tech protocols. Helena nodded, watching as Earth's true defensive grid powered down, replaced by the carefully crafted facade of a developing civilization. Primitive satellites, visible pollution, and inefficient radio transmissions, all part of the grand illusion maintained for centuries. Their ship is impressive, Park continued, bringing up a holographic display of the alien vessel. It resembled a massive coral structure, organic yet clearly artificial, trailing wisps of quantum energy. Definitely Thanaxian design philosophy. They're approaching Mars now. Let them see exactly what they expect to see, Helena said, her fingers tracing ancient symbols etched into her command console, markings older than most civilizations. A young species taking its first stumbling steps into space. Just another primitive world to catalog. The alien vessel, calling itself the Starweaver, broadcast first contact protocols in 30 different languages. Their message was diplomatic, but carried the unmistakable condescension of a superior civilization, discovering the younger race. If they only knew they were broadcasting to receivers that had monitored galactic communications since before their species achieved sentience. They're scanning our industrial centers, Park reported. The masking fields are holding. They're seeing exactly what we want. 20th century technology with a few modern advances. Nothing that would suggest we were there when their star first ignited, Helena finished. Nothing to indicate we helped shape their evolution from afar, as we've done for countless others. The real Earth, hidden beneath layers of quantum fields and temporal barriers, continued its work. In vast underground cities and orbital stations phased out of normal space-time, humanity's true civilization maintained its vigil. They were the shepherds, the guardians, the ones tasked with guiding younger races safely through their development. But something was different this time. Helena could feel it in the ancient technologies humming beneath her feet. The Thanaxians hadn't come merely to catalog another primitive world. Admiral, Park's voice carried an edge of concern. They're deploying atmospheric probes, standard procedure for their protocols, but these are military grade. They're looking for something specific. Helena's neural interface connected with Titan Base's quantum core, processing data streams that would drive lesser systems into collapse. The Thanaxians' search pattern was methodical, focused. They weren't just exploring, they were hunting. "Show me their scan frequencies," she ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing complex wavelengths that made Helena's blood run cold. "They're looking for precursor technology." "Impossible," Park whispered. "How would they even know to look for it here?" Helena's mind raced through possibilities. For millennia, humanity had hidden its connection to the precursors, those who had chosen Earth as their final repository of knowledge, before departing the galaxy. The secret had been kept through countless ages as humanity guided younger races from the shadows. "Signal the Lazarus Protocol," Helena commanded, her voice carrying the weight of a decision that would change the galaxy forever. If they're searching for precursor signatures, something has them scared. And anything that frightens a Class I civilization. "Admiral," Park interrupted, his neural interface flashing red. "They're powering weapons, not first contact protocol. They know." Helena straightened, her aged face set with determination. Humanity had hidden its true nature for eons, playing the role of younger sibling to the galaxy's rising powers. But perhaps the time for shadows had passed. "Drop the outer masks," she ordered. "Defensive grid to full power. Let's show our visitors why Earth was chosen as the precursor's legacy." As the quantum field surrounding Earth shifted, revealing layers of technology beyond even the Thanaxians' comprehension. Helena remembered the words etched into the first precursor artifact humanity had discovered. To those who watch, to those who wait, to those who guide. The galaxy will need its shepherds once more. The time of hiding was over. Earth's children had grown numerous among the stars, and now they needed to know the truth about their oldest siblings. The deception had served its purpose, but a storm was coming, one that would require humanity to step out of the shadows and into their true role as guardians of a galaxy they had watched over since the first stars died. The archives awakened. The Thanaxian delegation stood in Earth's true command center, their bioluminescent patterns pulsing with barely contained shock. First speaker Venra's upper eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing humanity's hidden installations throughout the solar system, while her lower set remained locked on Admiral Chen. "Impossible," she whispered, translators struggling to convey her mix of awe and fear. "Your civilization. The energy signatures we detected, they're identical to the ancient markers." Helena gestured, and the holographic display shifted, showing a timeline that made the Thanaxian leaders step back in unified surprise. "We didn't build these installations," she explained. "We inherited them. What you call the ancient markers, we know as the precursor network. Earth wasn't their first world, but it was their last." Lieutenant Park activated another display, revealing a massive underground chamber beneath the lunar surface. Crystalline structures pulse with otherworldly energy, each containing knowledge that could revolutionize or destroy civilizations. "When we first discovered their archives," Helena continued, "humanity was barely beyond stone tools. But they had chosen us, prepared our world, guided our evolution, not to be their successors, but their custodians." Venra's secondary appendages twitched with agitation. "The darkness at the edge. You know about it, don't you? That's why we came. Our deepest sensors detected something approaching from intergalactic space, something that matches the warnings in every ancient marker we found." Helena's expression remained carefully neutral, but her neural interface flashed with private concern. "We call it the void tide. The precursors flood from it, seeding galaxies with their knowledge, hoping some species would rise to face it when it returned. Earth was their final repository, their last hope." The chamber's lights dimmed as a new hologram appeared, a massive dark mass moving between galaxies, consuming everything in its path. The Thanaxian leaders huddled closer together instinctively. "For millennia, we've watched, guided, and protected younger races from the shadows," Park explained. "The primitive technology you detected on Earth's surface, a carefully maintained illusion. We needed to remain hidden until the younger races were ready for the truth." "Ready for what truth?" Venra demanded, her bioluminescence now pulsing rapid patterns of anxiety. Helena touched a control panel, and the chamber's far wall dissolved, revealing an ancient hangar. Inside stood massive vessels of impossible design, their hulls etched with the same symbols that marked Earth's hidden installations. "Ready for the knowledge that they're not alone in the coming fight," Helena answered. "The precursors didn't just leave us their technology, they left us a mission, a purpose. We are the shepherds, the guardians, preparing the galaxy for the void tide's return." Venra's upper eyes widened in understanding. "The primitive civilizations you appeared to be, the careful guidance we never noticed. You've been preparing us all along." "Each species has its strengths," Park said. "The Thanaxians' adaptive biotechnology, the Zinthuri's mastery of quantum mechanics, the Mursk's innovations in temporal engineering. Humanity's role wasn't to advance beyond you, but to ensure every civilization reached its full potential." Helena's neural interface pulsed as new data streamed in. "The void tide is accelerating. We estimate 50 years before it reaches the galaxy's edge. We had hoped for more time, but..." She turned to face the Thanaxian delegation directly. "Your people's mastery of biological engineering may be crucial in the coming war. Will you stand with Earth when we reveal ourselves to the galaxy?" Venra straightened to her full height, her bioluminescent patterns stabilizing into formal diplomatic configurations. You've guided us from the shadows, watched over us like elder siblings we never knew we had. The Thanaxian consortium would be honored too. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Park's neural interface flashed crimson. Admiral, quantum ruptures detected at the heliopause. Multiple signatures, massive ones. The holographic display shifted to show the solar system's outer boundary. Dark shapes were emerging from folded space, their forms defying normal physics. "It's starting," Helena whispered. "The void tide sent scouts. We're out of time." She turned to Venra. "First speaker, your people need to make a choice now. Earth protected the galaxy in secret for millennia, but we can't fight this alone." As the alarm echoed through Earth's hidden chambers, the time of shadows was truly ending. Humanity's greatest test wasn't in keeping their secret, but in uniting a galaxy that never knew its true guardians had been watching all along. The coming storm. Deep within the quantum-shielded command complex beneath Olympus Mons, Admiral Chen watched as the Void Tide Scouts tore through humanity's outer defense network. Their forms shifted between dimensions, making traditional targeting nearly impossible. "Status report," she commanded. Her neural interface processing data streams from across the solar system. 6 scout vessels, Park responded, his hands dancing across holographic controls. They're consuming our automated outposts, not destroying, absorbing them, learning from them." He paused, face pale. The precursor archives never mentioned they could do this. The Thanaxian first speaker, Venera, stood transfixed by the tactical display. "By the first light, they're adapting to your technology in real time. How can we fight something like that?" Helena's weathered face showed no fear, only grim determination. "We don't fight them. Not directly. That's the lesson the precursors left us. Initiate Protocol Prometheus." Throughout the solar system, hidden installations began to shift. Quantum fields rippled as humanity's true defensive grid activated. Massive structures phased into normal spacetime, their designs blending organic and technological elements in ways that made the Thanaxians gasp. "You see now," Helena said softly, "why we kept this hidden. Why we let the galaxy think we were primitive. This technology, it changes everything. And knowledge, used too soon, can destroy civilizations." The tactical display showed the Void Tide Scouts pausing their advance, clearly detecting the sudden emergence of technology far beyond their initial assessment. Their fluid forms coalesced into more rigid shapes, as if preparing for combat. "All facilities, execute Emergency Protocol 7, Helena commanded. Authorization, Chen Alpha 0. Release the restraints." Park's neural interface pulsed as he received new data streams. "Admiral, the Lazarus array is charging. But the power requirements. We've never tested it at full capacity." "We've had millennia to prepare," Helena reminded him. "Now we see if the precursors chose wisely when they selected humanity as their heirs." The massive installation housed within Mars' core hummed to life. Energy cascaded through networks built when Earth's oceans were still forming. The Void Tide Scouts began to move again, but this time with obvious caution. "First speaker," Helena turned to Venera. "Your people's bioorganic technology might be key to defeating these scouts. The precursors left hints about biological countermeasures, but they never perfected them. Will you help us?" Venera's bioluminescent patterns shifted to determined configurations. "The Thanaxian consortium stands ready. But the other races, when they learn you've hidden such power, they'll be afraid," Helena acknowledged. "Angry, perhaps, but fear and anger are luxuries we can no longer afford." She gestured and new holographic displays appeared, showing data streams from thousands of hidden monitoring stations throughout the galaxy. The scouts aren't just here. They're appearing in every major star system, testing defenses, gathering data. A coordinated attack, Park realized. They're mapping our response capabilities. Helena's neural interface connected directly with the Lazarus Array's quantum core. Then let's show them exactly what humanity can do. All the rays, synchronized with Lunar Command. Target the Scout nearest Saturn's rings. Let's give our visitors a demonstration of why the precursors chose Earth as their final stronghold. Energy collected from 1,000,000 quantum tap points throughout the solar system coalesced into a single beam of impossible power. The nearest scout vessel, caught in the attack's path, tried to shift between dimensions, only to find every possible phase state filled with devastating energy. The creature's death scream echoed through subspace, causing quantum fluctuations that made even the hardened sensors briefly fail. When they recovered, nothing remained of the Scout except rapidly dispersing particles. "By all that lives," Venra whispered. "What was that?" "That," Helena said grimly, "was one array. At minimal power. Now you understand why we hid, why we waited, and why we need the galaxy united now more than ever." She turned to face the Thanaxian leader directly. "The real war hasn't even begun. These scouts are nothing compared to what's coming. Will you help us prepare the younger races for the truth?" As if in answer, the remaining scout vessels began to retreat, phasing back into whatever dark dimension they emerged from. But everyone in the command center knew this wasn't a victory, merely the end of the first skirmish in a war billions of years in the making. "Send the signal," Helena ordered, "to every hidden installation, every monitoring post, every human agent embedded throughout the galaxy. The time of shadows is over. Operation Daybreak begins now." Across thousands of light years, humanity's hidden network activated. The galaxy was about to learn that its youngest appearing civilization was actually its oldest guardian. The only question was whether that knowledge would unite them, or tear them apart before the real enemy arrived. Legacy of the Guardians. The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Concordat had never been so full. Representatives from over 300 species crowded the ancient hall on Mars, their varied forms illuminated by the soft glow of quantum field generators. Above them, through the transparent dome, Earth hung like a blue jewel against the black of space. Admiral Helena Chen stood at the central podium, her simple gray uniform a stark contrast to the ornate diplomatic garb of the assembled delegates. The Thanaxian first speaker, Venera, stood beside her, providing living proof of humanity's claims. "For too long, we have watched from the shadows," Helena began, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "We've guided your civilizations, protected you from threats you never knew existed, and prepared you for this moment." Holographic displays materialized throughout the chamber, showing thousands of years of human intervention. Hidden outposts, disguised observers, subtle manipulations of technology and culture, all designed to shepherd younger races toward their full potential. Lies. The Zintheri ambassador's crystalline form vibrated with anger. "You claim to be our guardians, yet you deceived us all. How can we trust anything you say?" Helena activated her neural interface, and the chamber darkened. Above them, a new hologram appeared. The massive form of a void tide scout, its impossible geometry twisting through dimensions. "Because the alternative is extinction," she stated simply. The precursors didn't choose Earth by chance. They recognized something in humanity, not superior intelligence or technology, but adaptability. The willingness to sacrifice pride for survival. Lieutenant Park stepped forward, his neural interface projecting data streams that even the most advanced races struggled to process. "The void tide isn't just coming, it's already here. The scouts we destroyed were just the beginning. They're testing every civilization, looking for weaknesses." Murmurs of fear and disbelief rippled through the chamber. A Mursk elder, their temporal sensors quivering, spoke next. "You speak of unity, yet you held yourselves apart. What gives you the right to decide the fate of all?" "Nothing gives us that right," Helena answered quietly. "The precursors left us their legacy, yes, but more importantly, they left us their greatest regret. the knowledge that pride and division doomed their civilization. We hid our true nature not out of superiority, but necessity. The holographic displays shifted again, showing the network of precursor installations throughout the galaxy. Each pulsed with power that defied conventional physics, their true purpose finally revealed. Every race in this chamber has something unique to offer, Helena continued. The Zinthuri's mastery of crystalline computing, the Mursk's understanding of temporal mechanics, the Thanaxians' bioorganic technology. Humanity's role wasn't to surpass you, but to ensure all these pieces would be ready when needed. Venera stepped forward, her bioluminescence pulsing with conviction. My people have seen Earth's true capabilities. We've witnessed weapons that could have conquered the galaxy eons ago. Instead, they chose to guide, to protect, to prepare. The Void-Tide scouts that attacked our systems were defeated not by human power alone, but by technology that merged Thanaxian bioorganic principles with precursor energy manipulation. The chamber erupted in discussion as races began to realize the implications. Humanity hadn't just been watching. They'd been carefully guiding the development of complementary technologies across hundreds of civilizations. The precursor archives hold one final message, Helena said, her voice cutting through the chaos. The chamber fell silent as ancient symbols appeared above them, their meaning translated into every known language. To those who inherit our burden, the galaxy's strength lies not in the power of one, but in the unity of many. Guide them, teach them, prepare them, for only together can life stand against the tide of void. A Zinthuri crystal chimed in harmony with others of its kind. The crystalline archives we discovered. They were meant to work with Mursk temporal fields, weren't they? And our bioorganic computers, Venera added, they're compatible with dozens of other races' technologies. Helena nodded. Every civilization in this chamber possesses a piece of the puzzle. The precursors didn't leave us their technology to use. They left it to distribute when the time was right. That time is now. Suddenly, every quantum sensor in the solar system flared with warnings. Park's neural interface pulsed urgent red. Admiral, massive dimensional rifts forming at the galaxy's edge. The scout vessels weren't just testing us. They were mapping hyperspace lanes for invasion. The assembled delegates watched in horror as the tactical display showed hundreds, then thousands of Void-Tide vessels emerging from dark space. Their fluid forms twisted reality itself, leaving absolute darkness in their wake. The choice is yours, Helena addressed the chamber. Continue to doubt, to question, to divide, or stand together against extinction itself. Earth has guarded the galaxy for millennia. Now we ask you to guard it with us. One by one, the delegates began to signal their agreement. Ancient rivalries were set aside as the galaxy's civilizations finally understood the true purpose of humanity's long vigil. The war for survival was about to begin, and Earth's children would face it as one. The final test. The combined fleet of the Galactic Alliance stretched across 3 solar systems, a testament to what unity could achieve in mere months. Ships of every design and origin hung in formation. Crystalline Zinthuri dreadnoughts, organic Thanaxian world ships, temporal phased Mursk vessels, and at their heart, humanity's precursor-inspired defenders. Admiral Helena Chen stood on the bridge of the Earthborn Dawn, watching as the final preparations were made. The quantum displays showed the approaching Void-Tide, a wave of absolute darkness that consumed light, matter, and reality itself. All fleet elements report ready, Lieutenant Park announced, his neural interface processing tactical data from thousands of ships. The Thanaxian bioorganic shields are integrating perfectly with Zinthuri crystal matrices. Mursk temporal fields are stable. And the Lazarus Protocol? Helena asked quietly. All precursor installations are synchronized. If this works, Park hesitated. Admiral, the power requirements are beyond anything we've ever attempted. We might burn out every quantum tap point in the galaxy. Better burned out than consumed by the void, Helena replied. She opened a channel to the combined fleet. All vessels, this is Admiral Chen. For millennia, Humanity watched over this galaxy from the shadows. We guided, protected, and prepared each of your civilizations for this moment. Now we face extinction itself together. The tactical display showed the void tide accelerating, its advance consuming entire star systems. But where before there had been fear, now there was determination. Every race had contributed their unique strengths to the defense. Thanaxian bioships, begin sequence, Helena ordered. Massive organic vessels moved into position, their living hulls pulsing with engineered bioluminescence. Xanthari crystals, harmonize. Crystalline structures throughout the fleet began to resonate at quantum frequencies, their song rippling through spacetime itself. The Mursk vessels phased between moments, creating temporal corridors that linked the entire defensive line. "They've detected our formation," Park reported. "The void tide is changing pattern, concentrating." Helena's weathered face showed grim satisfaction. They recognized the threat. All those eons of preparation, all those carefully guided technological developments, they see what we've created. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't in building weapons, but in uniting the galaxy's knowledge. The void tide struck like a hammer of darkness. Where it touched, reality screamed. But the combined shields held. Thanaxian biological adaptation merged with Xanthari crystal resonance, all phase-locked by Mursk temporal fields. Lazarus Protocol, initiate, Helena commanded. Throughout the galaxy, ancient precursor installations hummed to life. Energy collected from 1,000,000 stars channeled through the combined fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of technology developed over thousands of years functioned as one. The void tide recoiled as reality itself began to shift. The combined technologies of hundreds of civilizations, guided by humanity's understanding of precursor science, created something new. A cascading wave of pure creation that opposed the void's entropy. By the first light, Venra whispered from her command ship, "It's working." The void, it's being pushed back. Park's neural interface flared with incoming data. "Admiral, the tide is trying to adapt, but it can't match our rate of change. Every time it shifts form, our combined technologies shift with it." Helena allowed herself a small smile. The precursors were right. No single race could defeat this enemy. But together, she opened a channel to all ships. All vessels, full power, pushed them back to the darkness they came from. The battle raged across dimensions, a war between creation and entropy. Stars ignited and died in moments. Space itself buckled under the strain. But the combined fleet held firm, their unified technologies creating a barrier the void tide couldn't breach. Finally, after what seemed like eternity, the darkness began to retreat. Not just withdraw, but disintegrate, its very nature unable to maintain coherence against the united power of life itself. As the last tendrils of void vanished into the depths of intergalactic space, celebrations erupted across the combined fleet, but Helena's expression remained solemn. "Send word to Earth," she ordered. "The void tide is defeated, but our work isn't finished. Now comes the harder task, maintaining this unity and peace." Park nodded understanding. "From hidden guardians to open allies, it will be different." "Different," Helena agreed, watching the galaxy's combined fleet glowing with shared victory. "But better. The precursors chose humanity not to rule, but to unite. We fulfilled their legacy not by remaining apart, but by bringing everyone together." As repair ships began their work, and the quantum tap points slowly stabilized, Helena thought about the long road that had led to this moment. Humanity had emerged from the shadows not as conquerors or saviors, but as they had always been, guardians, teachers, and now, finally, equals in a united galaxy. The age of secrets was over. The age of unity had begun.